It sounded like a joke, but it wasn't just a joke. When Jackson Smith-Njigba said he'd happily get in the ring with anyone from the San Francisco 49ers or the Los Angeles Rams, he wasn't talking about fighting. He was talking about control. Because wide receivers don't call out defenses unless something has already shifted. And in this case, it has. Let's start with the context. This came during an off-season UFC-style promo, light environment, loose tone, designed for personality, not pressure. But even in that setting, players reveal truths, not directly, but instinctively. JSN didn't name a specific corner. He didn't single out one matchup. He said, anyone, from two entire defenses. That's not random. That's confidence built on repetition. Now, fast forward to what actually happened on the field last season. Against the Rams, consistent production, explosive yardage, control of space. Against the 49ers, different script. Less volume in one game, but still effective when targeted. Still creating separation, still dictating leverage. The surface narrative says JSN is just having fun. But the real story is this. He believes he's already solved them. Now let's break down the obvious explanation. People will say this is about talent, route running, hands, production. And yes, that's part of it. JSN is one of the cleanest route technicians in the league. Precise footwork, controlled tempo, elite understanding of spacing. But talent alone doesn't make a player talk like that, because defensive backs at this level, they adjust, they adapt, they study tendencies. So if a receiver is still producing consistently against division opponents, that means something deeper is happening. Now we go into the real analysis, because this is where the matchup becomes psychological. Corners don't just cover routes. They anticipate patterns, they sit on tendencies, they try to disrupt timing. And JSN's game breaks that system. He doesn't rely on speed to win. He relies on timing manipulation. He changes pace mid-route, he forces hesitation, he creates indecision. And once a defensive back hesitates, the route is already over. Clipping moment number one. The best route runners don't beat coverage. They make defenders doubt what they're seeing. Now, apply that to divisional football. When you face the same teams multiple times a year, there are no secrets. Everything is on tape, everything is studied, everything is anticipated. So, success doesn't come from surprise, it comes from control. And JSN is showing control. Now let's bring in the defensive side, because both the Rams and 49ers have invested heavily in coverage. The Rams added pieces, adjusted their secondary, tried to create more flexibility in man and zone looks. The 49ers, traditionally one of the most disciplined defenses in football, pattern match heavy, strong communication. So if both units are structurally sound, why is JSN still producing? Because he's attacking the one area structure can't fully protect, timing under pressure. When a quarterback delivers on schedule and a receiver hits the exact landmark, even perfect coverage becomes vulnerable, which brings us to the quarterback factor. Because this isn't just about JSN, it's about the system around him. The Seattle Seahawks offense is leaning into rhythm, quick reads, defined progressions, timing-based execution. That amplifies JSN's strengths. He's not freelancing, he's not improvising, he's operating within structure and maximizing it. And that's much harder to defend. Now we get to the hidden factor, the thing most people missed. JSN's comment isn't aimed at defenders, it's aimed at identity. He's positioning himself as the player defenses have to adjust to, not the other way around. That's a shift. Because early in a career, receivers adapt to coverage, they react, they learn. But at a certain point, elite players flip that dynamic, they dictate terms. And when that happens, confidence changes tone. It becomes casual, almost dismissive, like saying you'd step into a fight with anyone. Not because you want conflict, but because you don't feel threatened. Now let's identify the turning point. It's not a specific play, not a single game. It's the accumulation of reps where nothing changes. Same opponent, same coverage looks, same adjustments, same result, separation. Once that pattern locks in, the mindset follows. And that's when a player crosses from promising to inevitable. Clipping moment two. The moment repetition stops teaching you something new, it starts confirming who you are. Now zoom out, because this has bigger implications for the division. The NFC West is built on defensive identity. physical fronts, disciplined secondaries, structured schemes. But if one receiver consistently breaks structure, everything shifts. Now, safeties have to shade. Linebackers hesitate in zone drops. Corners play with less aggression, and that opens space for everyone else. One player changes spacing for an entire offense. That's impact. And that's why this matters beyond a quote. Now let's bring it back to pressure and decision-making, because eventually defenses will respond. They'll double him, press more aggressively, disrupt timing at the line, and that's where the next phase begins. Can JSN adjust again? Can he win when the system tightens? Can he stay efficient when windows shrink? Because that's the real test. Not dominating familiar looks, but surviving targeted attention. Clipping moment number 3. In the NFL, dominance isn't proven when things are working. It's proven when defenses take it away. And that's what's coming. But for now, the balance has shifted. A receiver looked at division rivals, 2 structured defenses, and didn't see resistance. He saw opportunity. And once a player starts thinking like that, you're no longer watching potential. You're watching control. For a moment, it felt like the end was coming. Not officially, not announced, but the signs were there, and then everything changed. Travis Kelce isn't going anywhere. After weeks of uncertainty, the Kansas City Chiefs made their decision, and Kelce answered it. He's back. New deal, another run, another season where one of the most important pieces of their offense stays in place. But the structure tells the real story. On paper, it's a 3-year extension. In reality, it's a 1-year commitment, fully guaranteed, flexible beyond that. The kind of deal that gives both sides control without locking either into the future. That's not just business. That's strategy. Because after a disappointing 2025 season, this isn't about legacy anymore. It's about urgency. The Chiefs didn't bring Kelce back just to celebrate what he's done. They brought him back because they still need what he does. And that's where the pressure starts to build. Kelce isn't just a tight end in this offense. He's the outlet, the safety valve. The player who turns broken plays into first downs. When everything collapses, he's the answer, especially for Patrick Mahomes. And that connection matters more now than ever because Mahomes is coming off a major injury. Timing will be off early, rhythm won't be automatic, and when that happens, quarterbacks don't look for perfect plays, they look for trust. That's Kelce, which brings us to the turning point. This deal isn't about extending a career. It's about one more window. One more year where the Chiefs believe they can still compete at the highest level. One more season where the offense runs through a connection that's defined an era. But here's the twist. While Kansas City is doubling down on Kelce, Kelce the brand is expanding even faster. Enter Tommy Hilfiger, global ambassador, creative collaborator, a move that pushes him further beyond football and deeper into a different kind of spotlight. Fashion, business, influence. That's not accidental timing, because when athletes start building at that level, it usually means one thing. They understand the clock is real. Kelce isn't just preparing for another season, he's preparing for what comes after. And that creates a different kind of tension, because balancing both worlds isn't easy. The spotlight off the field grows. The expectations on the field don't go away, and for a player entering his 14th season, every snap carries more weight than the last. For the Chiefs, the impact is clear. If Kelce is still Kelce, the offense stabilizes. Mahomes has his anchor. The system works. If he declines, even slightly, the margin for error shrinks fast. That's how thin this line is. So this isn't just good news. It's a calculated risk. One more year. One more push. One more bet that a legendary connection still has enough left to carry a team back into contention. And if it works, it extends a dynasty. If it doesn't, it might finally signal the moment everything starts to change.